activated. So for community members who are listening, please, I will give further instructions, but please select the language in which you wish to hear this meeting. So as part of meetings, there are posted through the CVL. Sorry, we just had technology. We're having a little challenge with the echo. Is it working now? Yeah. Okay. Part of the rules of the quorum that we follow as part of all the city meetings include the facilitation of this meeting in Spanish. So welcome. And please, information icon in your screen and select the language in which you wish to hear meeting. If we continue to trickle in, I'm gonna walk you through the guidelines for these meetings when we're using the factors. So I'm gonna remind everybody in the room to please speak slowly, clearly pronounce your words, and breathe between sentences. Particularly in this room because the microphones are in the ceiling. So for facilitators, co-facilitators, and any interjections that you may have in panelists, please speak clearly so our interpreters who are connected with us through the magic of Zoom can hear us and interpret and render the message. I remind you that we should not interrupt the speakers. And if you have your own headset for people in, this is not applicable actually, but usually if we have any community members or any guest speakers who are joining us online, please use a headset. That's highly encouraged. And select one channel only. And please mute yourself when you're not speaking to avoid any kind of background noise. We also encourage you to avoid any use of idioms or things that are harder to translate, and let's try to use simple language. Part of the public participation in city meetings, we follow a set of guidelines. These are community guidelines that were co-created with community members to create a vision for productive, meaningful, and inclusive civic conversations. And this vision supports the physical, emotional safety for community members, staff, commission members, as well as democracy for people of all ages, identities, lived experiences, and political perspectives. If you wish to learn more about this vision and the community engagement processes, please visit the webpage that is on your screen. And these are some of the examples of the rules of the quorum that we have in the guidelines that support this vision. And these will be held during this meeting. So all remarks and testimony should be limited to matters related to city businesses. No participant should make threats or use any forms of intimidation against any person. Obscenity, racial epithets, and other speech and behavior that disrupts or otherwise impedes the ability to conduct the meeting are prohibited. For members of the community and participants, we're required to sign up to speak using their name or the name of their preference. and individuals must display their whole name before being allowed to speak online. Currently, only audio testimony is allowed online. So I will stop sharing my screen and pass the mic to AH, our chair.
Good. Good evening, everyone. Tonight is what's the date? That's this January 23rd. That's probably the first meeting of the year of 2024. Call to order. Welcome to the HRC meeting. It is time and it is 6:15 p.m. and January 23rd, 2024. And we officially start this meeting. My name is John, and I'm the chair of the commission. And thank you and welcome, everyone. We now move on to any agenda adjustment. Any commissioners have an agenda adjustments? Moving on to approving our previous meeting minutes. At every meeting, our secretary takes notes. Those notes are called minutes. Every month, minutes are included in our packet. We review them and approve them the following month, and that is always part of the agenda. Any adjustment to the minutes?
Exercise cards.
Exercise?
Yeah, we'll approve the minutes first.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for October 2023 meeting? A motion to second the motion, yeah.
Okay, I motion to approve.
Speak up a little, please.
Sorry, yeah, I motion to approve the minutes of the meeting held in October of 2023.
All in favor?
I second.
Oh, the motion is second, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I.
So all in favor, please unmute or give a thumbs up or say hi if you approve the meeting.
I abstained since I was not at that meeting.
Christine abstained. So that brings us up to the item 4, which is community participation. For community participation, members of the public join our meetings and contribute. They have 2 minutes to share, and staff has time to respond. Community members can sign up in advance and read as anyone signed up to speak.
No one signed up.
Yeah.
Can we check if there's anyone in the virtual world who would like to participate? Elizabeth, would you be able to check on the participants list and see if anyone has raised their hand?
And I was not logged in.
Oh, thank you. I can look too. Let's both look. I see 2 community members. Could you please raise your hand if you wish to participate in community as community members in this portion of the meeting? And to do so in your device, you can look at the icon of raise your hand. Okay. I don't see any actions.
Now we move on to our action item. Now we're at part of the meeting where we have discussion and informal items. As a reminder, we do not need to vote, but I invite you all to participate openly.
Okay, what I propose to do is some something like you want to say about what are your expectations for this year? Yeah. We want that everyone talk about what do you expect this year from the HRC or JK shortly or
Well, I can start.
Ingrid or Elizabeth.
So, I would say as a chair, I already think we have lost 2 meetings already for me on my TV, I think, correct? I think we did 2. We had to cancel 2 meetings.
Yeah.
Remember in December, yeah.
Yeah, so my expectations are things that I think the HRC was pretty much created for. That's what I was expecting us to work on. But I feel like it's there's always a way that's like hard to make things work. But one other thing, big issue for me, it's homelessness. And the second one will be the police oversight panel. And the third thing for me will be the protection of, vulnerable person protection. Like, people with no voice in the community, and how do we protect them? Like I said, I know, like, on my term now, I feel like 2 meetings already lost, and you're at 4 meetings in a year. And I don't know how many more we're gonna lose. We might reschedule for some other reasons. So my thing is like, if you guys have any other ideas, feel free. But these are my expectations and things that I want to work on.
Okay, my expectation, like a kosher, is I think we haven't had any meetings with the personnel of the city. Okay, and well, I think we need to talk more about that. The council, the city council. I think we need to move forward to talk to them, and what I would like to know what they expect from us. Because I think last year we didn't have any with them. And another thing that I want to say is that I want to do more with the HRC, but I want that you give me your feedback to that. What do you think about, or what do you think that we need to do? What else we need to do? I think that's it.
Sure, go ahead.
Because Carlos just said about what we need to do. Maybe for me, it's more important how to let people, community know about human rights, like more available information, especially because today we spoken about police, what rights people have when police come, for example, in domestic violence case, it's supposed to be woman police present when woman arrested for domestic because of husband calling her, and all of this stuff, how people can know their rights. in these situations. Yeah, especially for just general for last year, I learned a lot about children, like Boulder became child friendly, but it's new, but I want to know more about how Boulder participate in child friendly, what it's given, how many rights it's given to children. Yeah, I think, yeah, we skip few meetings, maybe we need to make more agendas, speak more, and make people know more about these meetings as like commissioners, what we exist and be here for them, for people, and they have rights to come and ask and find resources and ask questions and yeah.
Mine's kind of similar to Anna's as well. I think awareness about what the HRC does for people who want support in either human rights or women's rights, children's rights are also things that are important to me. Homelessness, yeah, creating awareness, I would say. And I think consistency in our meetings would be one way of doing that for sure. I know it's big, but I just hope that we can look back on the year and say, as an HRC, we are able to make this change happen, even if it's, you know, whatever it is, if it's small or big. I think we can definitely look back and say, like, because of HRC, we were able to fund these events that were able to bring people together of this community, and, you know, that brings people comfort. That's something I can say with confidence that we have been able to do as an HRC, but maybe in other like, I don't know, it's outside of events. I don't know if there's something I can say we really made this change happen for people. So I don't know. That's kind of my, I don't know if that's an expectation, but something I hope for this year.
I'm happy to weigh in. I think, as all of you know, I submitted my resignation effective at the end of March, which is primarily due to family issues going on, and unfortunately I don't have the capacity to participate beyond March, but I do have a lot of wishes for the HRC, and I do have some things I want to get done in the next couple of months. I think you all saw in my letter to City Council that one of the issues that I've had with how the HRC has been operating the last few years since I've been on, which is really, I think, a result of systemic issues rather than anyone specific. But I feel like the HRC has kind of been tucked in a corner, and we exist, but there has been not sufficient communication between the HRC and the community at large, except through us as individuals and not really as us as an organization. And then more critically, I just think there's been a complete lack of communication with City Council. And I think there are two issues there. One is, I think, on the occasions over the last 3 years since I've been on the HRC, where the HRC has reached out to City Council to advise on certain things. My personal opinion is that there's been a very polite acknowledgement of communication, and then that's it. It hasn't, the substance of what we've said has not really been under consideration. It's just been a very, thank you very much, and then we hit a wall. And then on the flip side, you know, the entire time that I've been on the HRC, and I spoke to some previous HRC members who said it was the same for their terms, which preceded mine, that City Council has not once reached out to the HRC for advice. And if you look at the charter of the HRC, this is supposed to be our mission. So I think there are a couple of things. One, since I submitted my resignation letter, I've heard from the majority of City Council reaching out to me individually, asking, you know, sort of welcoming more feedback and dialogue. So I'm going to take advantage of those offers and take those meetings where I can and offer my opinion. I think two, I think the city is making good headway on sort of revamping and rethinking the roles of boards and commissions. I think it's a very good step. I don't know if you all had a chance to look at the presentation that was given to City Council last month. But I thought that the task force working on this did a really good job of reaching out to various boards and commissions, sort of soliciting feedback of what can be done better. So I think to that, and there are sort of two things. One is just process and procedure around how all boards and commissions operate, and then specifically eventually how specifically the HRC can operate and what the mandate of the HRC is. And then secondly, I think it goes more to the scope of what falls under the HRC. Because one of the things I pointed out in my resignation letter is that during the 3 years I've been on the HRC, there have been so many crises directly related to human relations, and yet no dialogue between City Council and the HRC. So I really want to encourage the city and City Council to really get specific about what that means, and what should be under the purview of the HRC. And then so that's sort of the main thing I think I would hope for the HRC. The second, and this is more a wish for everybody for the future, because I think this is more of a longer term thing, is I think it would be really great if there were more formalized ways for the HRC to engage with various community members. Because right now it happens really on an individual level and the various communities that we are plugged into. But, I recall sort of hearing or reading about many years ago where the HRC was a forum for which community members really could come in and bring their concerns. And I think currently that is under the scope of what we can do. And my hope is that there will be a way of maybe formalizing that or bringing some process around that so it can actually happen on a more regular basis.
Oh, thank you, Christine. So when you say that, I just want to add something before you say it. It's something that I wrote when I became the chair of this commission. Hopefully I can find it in my email here. So when I became the chair, I think one thing that I did do is reaching out to all members. And one thing that was surprising to me, it's because those members told me that City Council used to pressure the HRC to work, related to human relation commissions. And I think one of the members told me, if you go to the Boulder Revised Code 2-3-6, and section C. So the function of the commission are to foster mutual respect and understanding and to create an atmosphere conducive to the promotion of amicable relationships among all members of the city's community, to serve as a vehicle through which citizens can convey their suggestions and city policies which respect to social problems, to be sensitive to the social needs of citizens and to advise and assist the city government and relating human and social services to the needs of the city residents, and addition to other tasks that the city council may assign to it. So again, like Kristen said, I'm probably the oldest member here. So far, I don't think, Kristen used to be really engaged in writing letters. And I'm not gonna say it's frustrating, but sometimes it's really discouraging after you put work through something. And like she said, the only thing you get is a thank you, which is, but when you look at the chart, it's like, okay, I'm asking myself the same question after I saw your resignation. What is my goal here as well? Can I do more outside? While staying here, what can I bring to the community as a church? And if we're doing meetings the same way, I don't think we're gonna get anywhere. And my goal is too as well, is how to change that. Because, you know, I spent a lot of time reading the ordinance that made, you know, created the HRC. So I think, you know, I don't know what it is. I think there's a disconnection in the puzzles of what we can do and can't, and how do we make change? Like, how do we engage if something is going on in the community? So I just wanted to add that before Christy said, because like I said, I wrote a lot more about it, but since the meeting was canceled, I did stay away from it, and I want to just add that to, you know, because I think that's one of the tasks, that's for the HRC, most of it. And I feel like the city kind of goes around us. I don't know if it's a way to, I don't know if it's better, or, you know, if anybody has an idea, please feel free to interject.
I will just add, I do think there's opportunity. I do think there is a lot of opportunity, and I think it's the challenge is there's no form to it right now, and so I think that's actually what has to happen first. What are the goals? You know, we have a new city council. I think there are many new members. They're very eager to engage. They also are learning about their roles. They also are learning about the roles of boards and commissions. You know, one of the current members, or one of the members of council who was already had a seat and still has a seat, mentioned to me that that they thought it was interesting that city council heard more from public engagement at city council members than actually from the HRC. So I do think there is a lot of opportunity and willingness. I think the challenge is just to figure out what that looks like.
If I may, well, first and foremost, thank you for sharing your expectations. I think it's an exercise that to open with the first meeting of the year is very appropriate. I think it's not a secret that some of the findings that these consulting and external consulting agency has been doing on the analysis of all boards and commissions have similar kind of patterns of what you're sharing. So I just want to, I'm not intending to normalize and tell you, yeah, but we're hearing it not only on the HRC. So I think it's something that, as Christine pointed out, officials, city council members will hear more about and get updates and really activate ways for boards and commissions to be more effective, and for your time as volunteers to be really the best used, right? That's all I have to share about that. We're taking notes. Again, it is not our decision to really tell you what to do. And I want to also highlight that the fact that meetings are canceled or postponed is because there's no working items. Do you all have access to the document I created where there's a list of the plan, the work plan? I don't know how much are you interacting with that document, where there are also opportunities for you to contribute to that document and to also follow some of the topics that you have mentioned with the most updated information, including links to council meetings and also all the information regarding events, community events that are funded through the Human Relations Fund. So again, I'm not minimizing in any way the feedback and the expectations that you're giving. I just want to say that you're not the only ones, and there are opportunities for community engagement that we share. We do have a guest speaker tonight, and out of respect for Sherry's time, maybe the chair can move on, and if we need to continue, or you need to, not me, but you have the desire to resume this conversation later on tonight, I will invite you to do so. But also Sherry is here and is gonna step away from the meeting after her contributions and participation. So JH, you wanna maybe move on to our next
item?
item?
Should we, the next item would be staff update. Is that gonna be for her or Elizabeth? Since she has to
Sherry
leave.
first.
Well, you're the floor chair, so.
Well, thank you, and apologies that I can't stay later. My name is Sherry Down, and I am Boulder's independent police monitor. I started in August of 2023 after coming from Chicago, where I had almost 15 years of direct investigation experience, investigating allegations of police misconduct. The organization I most recently worked at was the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, which is an independent office of the city of Chicago, completely independent from the police department. And I had also worked on earlier a project that was investigating allegations of police torture and tortured confessions. So that's the experience that I come from. And before Chicago, I grew up in very rural, small town dairy farm factory, Wisconsin, and started as a community college student before finishing my degree and then moving to Chicago. I think most of you have, or I hope most of you have, a pretty strong understanding of the reasons for civilian oversight, and good. Otherwise it would take all the time. So Boulder has chosen to have the monitor model, which is different. Chicago had an investigatory model where I and my staff conducted direct investigations that were not reliant on the internal affairs department from the police department to do the investigation. Boulder's model is the monitor model. So I'm the independent police model. I provide the professional oversight. And then there is the professional standards unit within the Boulder Police Department. And that staff is who actually conducts the investigations that I monitor and participate in. And then the police oversight panel is the community voice, and they have the opportunity to review the cases of misconduct that the professional standards units completes and that I monitor and involved with, and they have the opportunity to review and opine on those cases. So something that I thought you might be interested in hearing is some of the updates, because last year the entire oversight system had a lot of challenges. So, you know, me being here, I'm the new monitor, and then in October, the city council passed a new ordinance that revamped and clarified some of the components about the oversight system. So some of the most important parts of the ordinance are both myself and the panel now has the ability to investigate critical incidents and without there being a complaint filed. So critical incidents are officer-involved shootings or incidents where someone is seriously hurt. So previously, neither the independent police monitor nor the panel could investigate those incidents unless there was a formal complaint made. So this brings us much more in line with oversight all over the country. And it was a really important step to take to fix that oversight. The ordinance also clarifies that the panel not only makes the disposition and disciplinary recommendations on individual cases that they review, but they also can and should make policy recommendations. And policy recommendations can come from the evidence that they review in any individual case. And they also are encouraged, but definitely allowed, to conduct audits or analysis of the policies of the Boulder Police Department.
Just a quick question. This ability to make policy recommendations, is that for the police oversight panel and your office, or?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Another change in the ordinance is that the police chief is required to respond to those policy recommendations. This, from what I've seen, this chief has, or I guess the chief as of 2 days ago, she was responsive, but the working group who worked on these revisions to the ordinance understood that just because she is currently responsive doesn't mean that she will always be responsive, or that the next chief wouldn't be. So I thought that was a really important component of what they did, was to make sure that what the practice was became codified, so that any future chiefs have to respond to the recommendations. Another change is that if there are serious disagreements between, for the cases that are reviewed, that the panel can request to have a meeting with the chief of police and the city manager to discuss the differences. And that had been lacking before. And the final major change is that the city manager now is the person who has the final decision on the selection of panel members. And like our boards and commissions, the panel, right, the oversight panel is currently also seeking applications for new members. So that is something that is exciting. So hopefully we can fill some of the vacancies that we have.
To that note, I will share the links as usual for both the main page and the recruitment link for you to share with community members who you think might be interested or there could be a good fit.
Ingrid, just to ask, I believe that members of the police oversight panel do not have to be residents of the city, whereas other boards and commission members do. Is that correct?
I do not know that.
Yes, that is correct. They need to show strong ties to Boulder. So the 3 main ways to show a strong tie to Boulder is to reside in Boulder, to have children enrolled in a school within Boulder, or to work in Boulder. Those are the expected 3 ways, but people need to demonstrate in one of the questions on the application how they are, what their ties are to Boulder.
I just raised that because if you all know people, I think it actually opens the applicant pool a little bit more.
I would very much appreciate if people send out the recruitment information. Thank you. The application period goes until the 29th. I really appreciate you bringing that. So that's the main information that I wanted to share with you, because my understanding is that you have questions for me. So I didn't want to waste all of the time giving you a presentation of things that maybe you know. If there's more details that you want, I'm certainly happy to share those with you as best as I can.
I have one question for now is, I couldn't understand the part where you say is it the monitor or that is, like can make change in policies or?
Both the monitor and the panel can recommend changes in policy.
And you talk about something here that's a little hard for me is, well, you said you have experience from Chicago and, yeah. I bet you look at the process you guys use here to do investigations. Like from my experience, one of the things that I've experienced here is you make a complaint to the police oversight panel, and the police oversight panel send it to the police department, they investigate it. And then from there, their investigation is sent back to the police oversight panel to make a decision. Don't you think there is a like a glitch there where the border police is the judge at the same time and the investigator? Because understand, if I make a complaint to the police oversight panel, I think it should be their job to investigate what's going on, get all of the documents and everything, not to give it to the investigation of the police to investigate a cop. And I don't think it's fair for a cop to investigate a cop while it's, I'm just asking.
What you're talking about is similar in Chicago. Like I said, I worked in that investigative model, which is, it's one of the models of oversight. That is not the model that Boulder has chosen. That is not the model that is described in the ordinance. It is a different model. And since that's where I come from, that is certainly a model that I'm very well experienced with and appreciate. But Boulder chose to use a different model of oversight, which is also very common across the country. The monitor model, like Boulder has, is quite common.
Which one do you think is best?
I think maybe when I've had a longer time in Boulder, I could answer that better.
My second question will be, why doesn't the police oversight panel have access to full-time independent counsel? Like,
That I'm not sure. I was not part of the working group that worked on the ordinance. So that is not, I was not part of those discussions when they were deciding whether or how to handle that.
One more question will be, why do you think the police oversight panel, why wasn't the police oversight panel mentioned in the reimagined police report? Is it the intention of the police to abolish the police oversight panel?
Again, I was not here during the time period, which I think was several years that reimagining police was developed. My experience so far with the Boulder Police Department is that they are working with me, understanding that I, provide staff support to the panel, and I have not heard any indication from any of the top level police department members that they are trying to get rid of oversight.
Boy, okay. Okay. Can I ask one more question before you guys go? Is that okay?
Yes.
You can. Okay. So one more question would be, before I ask you the last question, so far since you have been here 5 months, I think, it's probably long enough. Have you seen any change that you want to make? Since you could be a voice for change.
I have one change that I have already made is that previously the professional standards unit in the police department, when they received complaints, they would only register it in their case management system when they ascertained that it was a complaint worthy of moving forward. So complaints where a person didn't leave contact information, complaints where people left contact information but didn't provide enough details to identify the incident or identify the officer. Those cases, they were not documenting in the case management system. So when I realized that, I recognized that was a problem. And I met with the police department, and they agreed that starting January 1st of this year, they would enter all of those complaints, even if they might not have enough information to move forward, they would at least be documented in the system. So that is one of the changes that I've made. I've got some things in the hopper that hopefully will bear fruit in the future. But Christine,
may I just ask a follow-up on that? What frequency was that happening at?
I don't know.
Anecdotally, were you able to glean anything?
No, I don't know, but my expectation is that it is going to be multiple times the complaints that we currently see.
And what do we currently see?
This past year, we had just over 40 cases. Additionally, when I was in Chicago, I handled the intake unit, so we received all of the complaints. My experience there is that also people file complaints against people who are not members of that department. So those complaints are also going to be included. So what I'm talking about are complaints where really the complaint isn't against the police, but against a security guard or against a Boulder County Sheriff's Office officer or a CU police department member. In Chicago, we were such a big organization that I would get complaints from departments across the country just because how to file a complaint against a police officer would lead to the Chicago website. So there are going to be, it's expected that there are going to be a sizable number of complaints that aren't actually complaints against the Boulder Police Department, that they will now be registering in that system.
And those would be referred to the...
Right. Yes. And those referrals, from what I've been told, were already happening. And the same thing happens when there are sometimes complaints that involve, multiple jurisdictions. So that is the practice of the Boulder Police Department, from what I've seen so far, is to handle the Boulder police officers, but then make a referral to the sheriff's office or the CU police, whatever department is appropriate.
So for the complaints that were missing information that weren't being documented before.
I'm sorry, can you please speak up?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
So I was just saying, for the complaints that weren't being documented before that are now going to be documented, what are you guys going to do with the information? Is it that you just leave them documented, or are you trying to call people to get more information on what information you thought was missing? Or
yes, that is currently and previously what the professional standards unit did, but sometimes people just don't respond.
Yeah,
especially a web complaint where they don't leave a phone number or their name or an email address. There's very little information to go off of sometimes.
that makes sense.
So those cases, we are figuring out a way to administratively close them. But then also have them available in case that person follows up, to be able to have that information already in the system to match it up.
I have a question. Police oversight panel monitor only police department or sheriff also? Because it's
Only the City of Boulder Police Department.
police, not sheriff. Who monitor sheriff department? Because they have office in Boulder.
Yes. I'm not sure. I would guess that they have some sort of internal affairs department.
And my second question, because I deal a lot with women from safe house before, it's a lot of domestic violence, and especially if husband was charged in domestic violence, I think it's still criminal cases. And to make wife look bad or something, he started to call the police. And my question is, it's supposed to be woman police present when this happening, this call happened, and it's supposed to be translator present because sometimes woman doesn't speak enough English by sitting with children or be immigrant or just come to country. Is this a direct violation of human rights if it's no woman when arrest happen and translation?
Translation services, they absolutely should work together. I am not sure, you mentioned that earlier when you were saying the items that you would like to work on. And I'm not sure if there is
Policy
a
or
requirement to have a
Yeah.
female police officer.
because I'd like to people know what their rights, what it's actually supposed to be. Yeah, but
That's something I can check into to see if that is a policy or just a practice that they like to follow.
yeah, it's safe house, it's a lot of cases like violations and a lot of struggle with system for women. Even they struggle from abuse, and after they have to fight the system.
I have definitely seen complaints about the police department's response to domestic violence cases, which has, traditionally in many jurisdictions been lacking and been problematic.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you hear incidents that sound like there is a violation, please refer those to me.
Okay, yeah, video conference. I guess.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any way or how can the HRC can collaborate with the police oversight?
That's a great question. I think this is a good start. You're the first entity that has, of your own initiative, invited me to join you, so I appreciate that. Do you have any ideas?
I don't know if any idea comes. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly I hope, if anyone, given the nature of your commission, if anyone would bring a complaint or concern about policing to your commission as a whole or to you as individuals, please forward them to myself or to the oversight panel, and I can make sure that those are registered as complaints. Is that something that happens, by the way? Okay, yeah. It seems reasonable, but it could.
So I have one more question for you. If you want that, we have one follow-up. Okay. So, like Christine said earlier, like any members from anybody that's you use the word affiliate has a strong affiliation to Boulder can be a member of the oversight panel. But there is a barrier here for me. Okay. So the city manager now has full approval, like they choose it, who belong. And rather than an organization that works, you know, in the community that could help people who have a voice, like the NAACP, like Amistad, or there are plenty of others. I just cite the big one. So if the city manager as well choose the police chief, well, you think there's a conflict, like a clear conflict there, where if the city manager chooses the chief and has the full right as well to appoint anyone to the police oversight panel, let me put it that way.
Well, the way that we're doing the recruitment for the police oversight panel, in accordance with this new ordinance, is there is a requirement that the city manager create an advisory committee. And those are made up of members from community organizations. We reached out to, I think it's about a dozen community leaders for them to be on or to offer suggestions for people to be on this advisory committee. And those are the individuals who are going to be vetting the applicants and then interviewing the applicants and then referring to the city manager a list of suggested candidates. So that's where the city manager is going to be looking, is based on the recommendations.
But still, like I said, the city manager still has full approval. Like, you know, let me put it that way. Let's get 10 people. And she's, you know, he or she, whoever will be, and will choose, you know, the person they feel much more comfortable with, instead of working with organization like, you know, that care more about human rights, I would say, you know, like I have a close tie with the NAACP that I know they do a lot of good work done, you know, because done just the city manager has that power, like we're full approval. Like if I don't want somebody, you're out. If you're, you know, as we know, you know, there was a lady, Lisa Sweeney, just has a small post on the Twitter against the police out. So don't you think that's wrong? Like, you know, as a member, like let's say I want to be part of it. If I have a post on Instagram or Facebook like Lisa did, there's no way the city manager will choose me. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, don't you think there is a problem there where the city manager, this power has to be more distributed? You know, let's say, you know, every organization sends someone to represent the community. That would not, you know, give the city manager that power, because I'm going to tell you one thing that I've my experience, and I'm, you know, cops are corrupt, and I don't care how you look at it. Once they investigate each other, they protect each other. They do. And if there is no, if it's concentrate like it is right now, and, you know, again, you're here, like I said, you can make change. If you would think about it, the city manager appoint the chief, you know, choose, you know, hire the chief or whatever you call it. And, you know, the commission, let's put it that way, let's call it a commission or the advisory board that can investigate or create a situation against the police. I don't see, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's more like, I feel like partisan, like, you know, little friends things, and not community participation.
Well, I can say that the hope is that we get a lot of candidates and that the advisory committee has a very strong voice in recommending candidates for the city manager to select from. And hopefully all of those candidates are good candidates who have a lot of value to bring to the panel. And again, I don't want to lean on this too heavily, but I was not part of the working group that drafted this ordinance that changed how panel members are selected. But my understanding is that it was in part taken out of the realm of the city council to try to make it less politicized. But personally, coming from Chicago, the chief of the Independent Oversight Agency and the chief of police, they were hired by the mayor. So I think when you're talking about city government, that there is going to be exactly what you brought up. There's going to be some friction, but I think that is just inherent in the system.
I've got two questions. My first question is, you mentioned that there are other changes you are interested in perhaps making, and I'm wondering if you can shed any light on those now.
No, I don't feel, I haven't,
Not yet.
not yet. I do hope to be able to, in the next several months, be able to show some changes. Well, actually, this is not about the police department, but one of the things that I did was the monthly independent monitors report. Previously, it was just read aloud and shown on the screen during the panel meetings, which to me, it was not the efficient way for the public to be able to, absorb that material. So I went through some questions with the city attorney's office and just lots of people, and made sure that the document was accessible, because there's a new accessibility law in Colorado coming up this summer. And now I'm able to post those online so that people, don't have to go through a 2-hour recording or meeting in order to see that information. Again, that's a change that I made in my purview, not the police department, but I am trying to make this work more accessible and available to the public and to the community.
Great. My second question is, you referred to the challenges of the last year and a half, and there have been a lot, and we've discussed some of them here. But we're also still now in a pretty changing and challenging situation. We have a police chief who's outgoing and an interim police chief who has been under a lot of public scrutiny. For those of you who are not aware, I don't know if all of you are aware, but the current acting police chief was in Aurora, and
the shooting
was the Elijah McClain case is there are connections there. There are multiple lawsuits going on right now, and then we also have, we're going to have big turnover on the police oversight panel, and from what I read just recently, there were not very many applicants in the initial period, and now the application period's been extended. So it seems like things are still evolving and not clear how things are going to shake out. And I'm just curious to hear your take as someone who's new to this town and new to all of this, and what your outlook is.
I think evolving is like a perfect word to use to describe it. I actually feel it's a lot of opportunity. We have a new ordinance. There will be a new chief, a new independent police monitor, and some new members to the panel. So I think it is an opportunity to build the oversight system in a more stable way. I think it is going to be, there's going to be challenges along the way, but I actually see it as a pretty significant opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Does everyone have my card?
Take care, sure. Yeah, I will.
I'll take one. And
Thank
please
you.
reach out to me if you have additional questions and I can try to answer them.
Yeah. May I ask a follow-up question, just really quickly to, and that is just for Ingrid and I to be aware, is it like in the past, we've included in updates for meetings, just like links to city council meetings where the panel, like where the city council meeting where the new ordinance was presented and agreed upon. Is that information helpful?
Yeah.
To you all? Reports, minute, all those sorts of things, we can keep doing that. We just want to make sure we're giving you information in a way that's useful.
Then it's ordinance 8609. You need that. And it was the October 19th city council meeting.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for,
Again, I appreciate you inviting me. If you think in your networks that there is anything that we can do jointly, or just any event that you think would be appropriate for either myself or the panel to try to have a presence at. We are trying to, just like you said, for the HRC, trying to figure out a way to have more communication with the public. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you so much. Just a friendly reminder that the HRC recruitment period is open. It is personally hard to see you go. And at the same time, I totally respect your understanding, and you will be missed, Christine. And your seat will be open next year. I mean, as of April. So please refer people who you think might be interested. I will share this flyer with you with a link for people to apply. The application for, I just want to point out that the application for the police oversight panel is bilingual. The application for the HRs, for the boards and commissions of the city is not. But if there's that need, please reach out to the city clerk's office as it is in the website or in the flyer. Anna's seat was for a year term. And Anna, did you reapply?
I did.
Okay, so Anna reapplied, and that will be for a full term. Yeah, so I will share the flyer and the link for you to share with community members. I believe we have received applications and we're already set up for a couple interviews coming up. So remember that those members are appointed by City Council, same process that you went through, and they're looking into ways of improving the onboarding process. That's one of the recommendations that the independent contractor made, and they're working actively on improving that process. I don't know, Elizabeth, if you have anything to add in regards to either opportunity.
I would just say, and maybe just referring back to the earlier discussion you had about your, priorities and kind of feelings about, the commission or boards, commissions in general, as Ingrid says, we know the questions are being asked in a lot of different settings, not just the HRC, that my own experience on boards and commissions and committees for many years is that it's what we make it. And so if there are people who are inspired and want to, kind of put in some work and some time like you all have, that's who we really want. You know, people who both want to address the problems and also have an eye toward the potential and the opportunities, and really want to work, you know, with fantastic folks like yourself. Christine's shoes be very hard to fill, but hopefully we'll have a good pool of more candidates. So please help spread the word, and we have been doing the same. And I think if anyone you know who's interested but just has some questions, like it's far better to get an application in so that you can have discussion, but we're available, as are others, to answer questions if you do know somebody who's thinking about it. Just encourage it all the way around. It would be unfortunate for somebody to wish on February 1, right, that they had submitted an application but didn't. So let us know how we can be supportive.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Any question or clarification needed from commissioners?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on, now we can move on the agenda, item 8, which is update from commissioners that usually included.
We're gonna. Haven't done the staff update yet.
Sorry.
No worries. Gotta adjust the script a little, but thank you. And I'm happy to start and kick us off with the staff update. I wanted to share that the Human Relations Fund has allocated plenty of funds to our community organizations. The second application round that wrapped up in 2023 for events taking place from now until May have been very successful. Usually is the time frame where we see the least number of applications. And during this cycle, which is a little bit shorter than, slightly shorter than the second one, $12,000 were allocated between 7 different organizations. Well, that's not completely true, because one is a collaboration between 3 of them. So it's been allocated between 7 groups, or 7 individual applications for a total of, I believe, 9 organizations. Yes.
I'm just curious, you know, a year and a half ago, you know, we had talked about changes to criteria, and then we made this whole change in process. And I'm just curious if, you know, are we seeing new organizations apply? What kinds of things are being funded that's different than before?
Both. It's been a combination, and it's been inspiring to see also new organizations and groups and individuals applying with the fiscal sponsorship of an organization that has the status of 501c3. So I will be updating the spreadsheet and adding those events as contracts move forward. So you can see who has applied and who's hosting what event, and in commemoration to what. Again, the second application, or I guess it depends on how you see it, but the first application for 2024 will open up in April for events that are happening between June and December, which is the busiest kind of cluster, given that there's a bunch of special holidays in the summer. So organizations tend to maximize those longer days during those months. And the application lives in the same website as always has. So please, if you know of organizations that would like to host events or you're asked about funding, please encourage them to look into the criteria and applying starting in April. I will provide you with a more detailed date on when it opens, and I will give you the heads up as of when it opens. I think overall, in my opinion, the process improvement has given good results. At the beginning, I will say some people were like, navigating it because it was new, it was different. But overall, it's a so much more like simple process. The reporting piece is also much simpler. And our team, not because they're my peers, but they're just incredible and they're on it. There is a small advisory group that reviews the applications, grades them, and then compare results. And Figure has been part of some of those. Questions about the Human Relations Fund? Just to put it on kind of monetary terms for this second cycle between June and December, because it's a bigger pool of applications that we usually see, I believe it will be around $21,000 that will be allocated between applicants. I don't have access to my notes, but it's all there. So if you do not have any questions, I can move on into providing an update on homelessness services. All right. And please, Elizabeth, support me on this one. I wanted to share with you that I did share with you the on an email information about the press release on the warming shelter that happened a couple of weeks ago. Just last weekend. Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah. So definitely the response is there, the proactiveness is there, and it was very well organized.
Yes.
Yeah, due to the cold weather.
Each do a great job of sending emails, each people the problem.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. Send emails about resources for homeless people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, please videos spread around for people.
That's good. This warming shelter was at the East Rec Center in East Boulder. Day Services Center will begin this year at the Boulder Shelter for the homeless location in North Boulder. And you can access information in the link that is here and that we can share. Elizabeth, do you want to speak a little bit about the community input questionnaire?
Yeah, just so Ingrid and I, our colleagues, there are several folks who work specifically on homelessness services within our department, and they are certainly the experts in this area. But the link that is in the slide deck, and we can share that separately when Ingrid sends notes from the meeting, as just really kind of brief and kind of clear information along with the timeline and the chronology of kind of what have led us to this point with day services. So if you want more information, it's there. And there is a community input questionnaire. And again, the direct link is one that you can get through this presentation. And it's also on that project page, where people have an opportunity to just share input on the programming to be offered at the center. There's also links where for all the community input that was received in 2022 about day services. So it's just kind of got what input was provided, what's taking place now, with some additional inputs from anyone in the community to share. So if you have questions, concerns, you can certainly relay those through Ingrid and myself, and we can get answers if we don't have them. But anyone is also welcome to share information and input and comments there as well.
Mm-hmm. I was just double checking the questionnaire is available in English and Spanish. And I also, please excuse me. I'm looking at my cell phone because the interpreters are communicating with me when they're having a hard time. So that's why I keep checking on my phone, not to be disrespectful. Yeah, and then there is a homelessness service update to City Council. It's coming up in February 28th on the regular meeting.
Can I just add something? I was just gonna make a personal recommendation that if you don't have time to, listen to city council meetings, which I don't, I find that Boulder Reporting Lab does a good job of sort of recapping what happens in city council meetings. If there's no, I believe they don't operate on a subscription basis. You can sign up for their newsletter and they'll email it to you, or just go to their website. I personally think they're a little more comprehensive than the Daily Camera about what's happening in city government. So that's generally where I get my information when there's a topic at city council that I find interesting and I want to learn more about what happened.
Can you repeat their name, please?
Boulder Reporting Lab.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, I wanna say that sometimes it's difficult with the people that live on street or very homeless, because where I live, there's a lot of homeless, and I told them that go to these shelters, but sometimes they prefer to stay there. I don't know why.
Freedom.
I don't know.
You gotta remember that, right? That
Yeah.
it's a matter of personal choice.
It is freedom, so. Yeah.
There's many, many reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For folks who are not aware, the gathering out in the lobby here earlier was people, volunteers and city staff who just finished the point in time count, which is to take a survey. We do it now twice a year, once in the winter, once in the summer, for homeless individuals. And that includes asking people a little bit about themselves, so we are better informed as to what their needs are. And sometimes people share, why it is that they don't want to go to a shelter, or don't feel they can. And the information is always extremely helpful to try to figure out how we can, and our colleagues across the county and the region, right, figure out how best to provide people what they really need to be well.
Yeah. I have to say that I have the opportunity to look at the questionnaire, and the questionnaire is very rooted on trauma-informed questions, and also a very dignified way of approaching people and getting to learn more about them. And they also share resources when they're out and about doing those counts. I'm super excited to share about our next staff update, the Elevate Boulder. Participants, do you remember the Guaranteed Income Project? And I don't know how much have you been following it, but 200 community members went through the application process and the random selection, and they started receiving a financial support of $500 a month, no strings attached. How many? 200 people, 200 individuals, and that number was determined based on budget, and also there was a task force that dedicated a significant number of months into creating the program. So they have received payments starting this month, and it's already heartwarming to know that some of them are eager to share their feedback because of the impact that $500 has in their lives and the difference that makes. I think, Elizabeth, and under your leadership, it's been an incredible project to be part of for me as a staff member and learning how best, how programs could look like, especially because it's changing the narrative of people being the experts of their own needs and putting the money and the funds into people's hands for them to have a dignified experience and determine on their own what the best use of those funds are, which is very different than any other assistance programs that we see across the nation and the state and our community. Do you want to speak a little bit about the debrief and evaluation portion of it?
Sure. So as Ingrid said, we just payments have started going out this month to the 200 individuals. We had a partnership not only with the community members who served as task force members for this project starting a year ago, a little more than a year ago, and helping determine really the main kind of features of the program, how many people, how much money, what criteria, what outcomes, et cetera. And we also worked with a number of nonprofit partners who helped with the application and outreach and enrollment process. And so we had last Friday just an opportunity for those who were able to meet in person and talk about what our observations were, what went well, what, you know, what surprises we had, what we might want to do better, either for the rest of the program or next time. And so we had some really good discussion, and there's always things that we can do better, that we can recognize we want to do better for next time. But overall, people really felt like we were able to create a process that, as Ingrid shared, the word that we keep using is dignified, where even if people were not selected, they felt like they knew what to do, they had the information they needed to decide whether to apply or not, and then ultimately enroll if they were selected. And it's ongoing work. I happened to meet one person who came in today to pick up their debit card. And as Ingrid said, when we do have that opportunity to interact with the participants themselves, it's really great just to know how much it's already means to them to have this opportunity. So the next time that we will be having evaluation information from the participants themselves will be probably somewhere around August or September. People had the opportunity to participate in surveys if they want. They're not required to. Most people did, which we're happy about. And they'll get compensated an additional small amount of money when they fill a survey, right? So we're just not making it conditional, right? As Ingrid shared. So we hope that we'll have some really great data and stories from community members, what's going well, how the funds have changed their lives or not, and be able to share with the community the kind of impact this program can have.
And if you want to have more information or stay tuned, as usual, the webpage is updated.
That's for 2 years, correct?
Yeah, yes, it is for 2 years. I also made a little plug here for this Vimeo video. I found it super helpful for me to refresh kind of what CARE meant. There's so much information and initiatives that sometimes for me it's hard to keep track and refresh what's happening. But if you remember, it was probably about over a year, maybe a year ago or so, maybe a little less, when Wendy Schwartz, our colleague at HHS, came and presented on this initiative. CARE stands for Community Assistance Response and Engagement, and it's a program that is an alternative to respond to community calls that are not necessarily 911 emergencies or an alternative that consists into having a behavioral health clinician, paramedic, intensive case management. It's not meant to substitute and or replace in any ways our first responders. If someone needs 911, they should call 911. But CARE is an alternative program in response to community needs. I will invite you to check out the video, check out the website as a refresher. It is a program that is already in place. And I can't speak of the effectiveness or experiences, but if you want to have an update, we can always request for it. Would you add anything?
We have been, our colleagues, Wendy and Lucy, who are kind of managing those programs, that and the community. Now I'm blanking out. CERT is the other one, where a behavioral health worker goes with a police officer, and this one is with first responder, non-police. We have fantastic new staff members who are those serving as these behavioral health clinicians, and we're just, they're, as they often say, they're interacting with people at their worst, on their worst day. Right, and on the worst time. And so it takes a special person to be able to manage and serve people in that way. And we're really glad the program has launched.
How long has it been in place now?
A couple months. I mean, just a minute since it was formally launched.
And lastly, I wanted to share that the conversation regarding minimum wage continues to move forward. As you may know, and remember when Taylor Raymond came, and it was in October, actually, where she came and presented you with almost the plan moving forward. The work continues, and again, is a regional approach that the city is being collaborating with other municipalities and stakeholders that have and should have a part of the conversation regarding minimum wage. They requested if you are interested in having a presentation in May. It is very likely for them to present in front of City Council maybe by July. So in May, you will have the opportunity to get an update and provide feedback. Are you interested in that? So we can make sure that they can get feedback. I believe they're also gathering feedback from other boards and commissions as well. You're not the only one, but we want to make sure you're scheduled so you can get that update. In the slide deck, you will also have, if you notice on the staff update on the bottom, I linked the HRC work plan for you to have access to that spreadsheet. And again, if you need help navigating it or you're need anything from me, please let me know. I'm here to support you and make this document accessible and useful to you. So if the format doesn't work, let me know. We work on it together to make it a tool that you can use regularly. Any questions regarding any of the staff updates?
Question I have is like, how, if someone, like say, call the police, does the CARE automatically goes, or is it, how does that work?
So there's actually, not that we'll just bump everything to a web page, but I say that because if we don't get it right or have an incomplete answer, they're all there. But basically, if someone would call 911, there's not like a separate way to say, I want to CARE you call 911 and that dispatcher will kind of figure out on their end and offer the opportunity to have that. And there are some situations where I think our understanding is that depending on what the situation is, for example, if there is, violence or something of that nature, it may be that the police would need to respond anyway. But it's particularly to try to create an opportunity for people, who don't need to engage in the criminal justice system, not to do that and just get what they need from behavioral health and medical health teams. So, but yeah, we can certainly, if you all are interested, again, on this and any other topic, say we want to know more about that, we can kind of come prepared with that information, or certainly proactively share when there's more reporting, and evaluation information. The program is too new to report on quite yet, but that will be coming, and again, happy to share that.
Following up on what Christine suggested, if you haven't done so, you could subscribe to the city YouTube channel, or to the city channel that connects you to videos that are uploaded regularly on a number of issues. This video that I link here is only 7 minutes for you to refresh kind of what the program is about, and you get to see Wendy, you get to see Lucy, and refresh also those staff faces if needed. And if you have any questions, again, from what you see here or learn, let us know.
Ingrid, do you mind, or I guess JH folks, do you mind if I ask, are there any other information that you've been curious about or wondering about that we haven't shared? Ingrid and I tend to try to kind of reflect back on what are the things that you said you were interested in knowing about and wanted more information about, and so we share on those topics. But obviously, if there are other things, it's helpful to know ahead of time, or you can tell us now.
A little break. You want a break?
We're almost done.
We're almost done.
Long break from last meeting, can we have slide?
Yes. I see what you mean. Yep.
All right, BH.
Oh, should I go? Okay, thank you, Ingrid and Elizabeth. Well, you all actually asked about questions and clarifications. So moving on now, we can move on to the agenda item 8, which is update from commissioners. That usually includes any event updates and other items. Are there any updates from commissioners? No. We are almost at the end of the meeting. With that, I would like to pass it on to staff to resume the follow-up items. I think that we're in the chat. I saw somebody put some things up. A question?
It's probably one of the interpreters. I can look. Yeah, either the interpreters. There was equal at some point. So in my follow-up, I have a few items to share with you, including the slide deck and also information on the police oversight ordinance, the updated version of it for you to take a look at. And I'm also wondering if you will be interested in getting a link on where to find the monthly independent monitor reports.
Sure.
That Sherry shared about.
Is what you said about the last update one, is that the last
Ordinance,
okay.
The police side oversight ordinance, I can share that. I will share the slide deck. Again, the slide deck, you can access all of the links that are already embedded there. And if you have any questions or accessibility issues, let me know. That's all I have actually for items on to follow up.
Can you send around the recruitment flyer too?
Oh yeah, the recruitment flyer. And for the HRC. Of course, I will send you the regular business minutes and yeah, maybe I want to know if the February meeting, do you want to hold it online or have it in person?
What's the date on that? It's February 20th. I will just flag that.
It's not?
Oh, no, it's Tuesday. Forget we switched.
I will just flag that BBSD has a day off that day. I don't, JH, you have kids in school and I do. And so that makes it a little harder. Because it's like one of these weird professional development days that they tacked on to President's Weekend. So.
Would you like to move it a week before or after?
After
After will be a short month, so.
After will be easier, because I might go out of the country for a week, hopefully that.
So that will be February 27th, and I will update the website. I will update your calendar invites and make sure that you all have that with the correct date and time. Any preference whether to do it online or in person?
It's the same. It can be person. Okay.
Person? Okay, we follow your lead. Perfect.
Anything else? Again, thank you, Elizabeth and Ingrid. And with that, we can move on to adjourning tonight's meeting at 7. Tonight is January 23rd, 2024, and it's 7:51 p.m. And can I have a motion to, correct? A motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I second.
Yeah. Thank you all for your participation. Have a good night.
Thank you.
And thank you for inviting her. I feel like there are a lot in that post monitor. It's a lot though. And I've been following it a lot, but hopefully she's not overwhelmed.
Thank you so much to our interpreters for interpreting this session and ensuring language access to all community members. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
You're out.